The first American has been killed in the drive to retake Iraq's second largest city, Mosul. Iraqi troops and Kurdish forces are clearing villages in that push forward. But ISIS militants are hitting back with an attack on a power plant in Kirkuk. At least 11 people were killed before the attackers blew themselves up. Our Benjamin Hall was on the front lines today speaking with Christians who are trying to protect their communities. He's live in Erbil, about 50 miles east of Mosul.
Hi, John. Yeah, just as ISIS seems to be on the back foot in one part of this country, they launched this audacious counterattack about 100 miles southeast of Mosul in the town of Kirkuk. The attack started early this morning as the militants, armed with assault rifles and explosives, attacked targets in and around the city. They coordinated these attacks, focused on government buildings, killing at least 6 officers, and they also focused on a power station where 13 employees died. Gun battles continued for hours as multiple explosions rocked the city and militants walked openly through the streets. Initial reports suggested that as many as 16 civilians may also have been killed and 12 ISIS fighters. The governor said that this was the work of sleeper cells, and indeed it is feared that as ISIS lose territory, they may morph into an insurgency that launches attacks around the country. Meanwhile, about 100 miles to the west, the oldest Christian settlements in the world were being liberated, having been held by ISIS for the last 2 years.
There was a sense of victory today on the road to the front lines as fighters returned from battle. But a couple of miles ahead, the story was very different, and it became clear victory was not yet won. The villages around us are all Christian, and they've been liberated in the last couple of days by Kurdish fighters and Christian units, many of whom have had to arm themselves. But liberating a town and clearing an area are two very different things, and there are said to be ISIS fighters possibly in the areas around us. And as reinforcements streamed forward to help, it became very clear that ISIS were still holding out. We've been trying to move forward for some time now, but they just can't clear the area in front of us. It's a clear reminder of to what extent ISIS covers this area in IEDs and explosives. Now, those Christian units I mentioned are very interesting. They were set up about 2 years ago as ISIS was approaching, just by villagers who wanted to protect their churches and their families. We know that they had to buy their own weapons, but most sadly we also know as they go back into those villages that many of those churches are destroyed, and Christianity really seems to be another victim of this terror group. John?
Benjamin Hall reporting live from Erbil. Thank you, Benjamin.